everybody, to episode 11 of So Many Screens, a pop culture podcast brought to you by Washed Media. I'm your host, J.R. Hickey, coming to you from the very hot Palm Springs, California. Joining me on the other line, as always, she's our Disney princess, Kat Pat. How are we doing today?
Oh, I'm good. I love the introduction every week. It's always a fun surprise.
Sometimes I pre-write them, and other times I just kind of shoot off the cuff. We're talking about Disney today. We just watched Mulan. It's Disney week, everybody. We're it's an entirely Disney-themed episode. So yeah, Kate, I mean, you're probably the closest thing we have to a Disney princess. I'm probably the closest thing to like the comic relief. I'm like the frog or the like gargoyle or something that like makes the commentary on the side. How is your Labor Day weekend going?
It's good. I actually forgot it was Labor Day weekend up until like Friday at 3:00 when my boss was like, "You guys are done for the day." I was like, "Oh fuck, we don't have to work on Monday." Yeah. But yeah, that was a fun surprise. What about you?
Good. Yeah, we talked about this off air, but we've got some people in town visiting, first time in a long time. It feels a little weird, but it's good to, have a full house down here. It's literally like 120 degrees out, so hence the tank top. I know I did some comments on the tank top, but it's the fit out here. You gotta, what is it? Curls are for the girls. Like I don't even know the phrase.
Yeah, curls for the girls, buys for the guys.
Yep. So here's what we're doing today, guys. We are talking about the 2020 live action Disney Plus original Mulan, which just dropped on Friday. We're going to talk about some of our favorite Disney animated movies throughout our childhoods. Then at the end, we're going to discuss which Disney movie we'd like to see remade into a live action movie next. So did a little bit of homework on this. I also have a recommendation I want to give at the end of today's episode, which we'll get to. But so we both tuned in. We both watched this Mulan remake on Friday. It cost $30 on Disney Plus. You had to upgrade to the Disney Premier package in your Disney Plus account, but we did not pay $30 each, did we, Kate?
No, from the jump, we were like, we are not paying $30 each. No way. We split it.
We split it. I bought it. I gave you my login information. You Venmo'd me half. Very generous and kind of you. $15 more on principle than anything else, because $30 is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought what was King of Staten Island? $20.
$20 was that was pushing it.
That was steep. Yeah, and $30. That's absurd. That's way too much to ask for a less than 2 hour long movie.
Exactly. I think the reasoning that I read is that this is supposed to be a family movie, so people with families, if you're like, cost analyzing versus them going to the movie theaters, if you're going with parents and some kids, it's usually like 4 or 5 people. So they upped the price for Mulan. I have no idea how it's doing in terms of like streaming numbers. We are recording this on Labor Day, Monday, September 7th. So the movie's only been out for 3 days. But to be honest, I don't feel bad stealing from Disney. I think they're going to be okay. I think they won't be missing Kate's $30.
No, and they're never going to get my $30. I was saying to my friend, I personally would not spend $30 unless I had a family of 4.
Yeah. $15 was fine though. That seemed like, okay, that's a movie ticket to me. And so I watched this Friday, like in the early afternoon. So it's not as fresh in my mind, but you just watched it yesterday, right?
I watched most of it last night. I finished it this morning.
You watch these on your laptop, don't you?
Yes.
Why is that? I don't know. That's not weird. I would never watch a movie on my laptop. I do the full 65-inch, smart TV. I want to feel like I'm in a movie theater for the experience. Does it take away from it at all for you?
Sometimes. Well, 2 things. One, Wayne wanted to watch basketball. So
well, I'm on
that takes priority. Yeah. And we only have one like good big TV in our house. Sure. Whatever. And then second, our TV is mounted on top of our fireplace. So it's like not ideal for watching for me because I'm short. So I have to like crane my neck back. So yeah, I mean, I watched it on my laptop, as I do most things.
So Kate's watching Mulan on her laptop last night into today. What are your thoughts? This is the live This is the live-action adaptation of the 1998 animated film of the same name, and it's based on the Chinese folklore, The Ballad of Mulan. That's all I'm going to say. You now have the floor.
Okay. Well, I went into this with very high expectations. I don't know about you, but when I saw the trailer, I had chills and I was like literally tearing up. So I thought it was going to be amazing and I could not wait. And I'm going to be honest, I was thoroughly disappointed. I don't know. I mean, we'll obviously get into it, but it was not at all like the cartoon at all.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting, because you're right. The trailer dropped a year ago. It was widely considered the most positive reception and one of the most widely viewed trailers of 2019. Dropped almost exactly a year ago. I think it was during NFL opening week, which is what we are at right now. And the hype was unprecedented. People were so excited. They thought this looks really authentic. This looks really gritty. This looks like a really interesting take on this classic animated film. People were hyped, and this movie does not even come close to the hype. This movie is an hour and 45 minutes of kind of confusing dialogue, plot schemes, magic, which we'll get into.
Yes.
And it resembles nothing of the animated film. None of the heart, none of the humor. It simply feels like they took every Chinese American actor in Hollywood, dressed them up in like period authentic garb, and were like, hey, here's like a version of this story with all the fun stuff removed.
All of the fun stuff was removed. There was like one somewhat funny character.
Yeah, and obviously when you come from an animated movie, like there's going to be some humor that comes as a byproduct of animation. Like the Mushu dragon character from the animated movie, voiced by Eddie Murphy, voiced hilariously by Eddie Murphy. I can understand why that character can't exactly like live in a live action serious adaptation. But the Mulan character in the animated film has all these like sidekicks that she's like, going to war with, against the Huns, if you will. And they're all funny and they're all comedic and they all have like different personalities. And in this movie, it's kind of just like a sea of Chinese dudes who like don't really do much for the story at all. It's go please help me out. It was very frustrating.
No, it was. And my biggest, are you familiar with the plot of the cartoon movie?
Yeah.
Like, okay, because I read the synopsis again about it this morning, just kind of like refresh my memory, and then I started watching it. And even within like the 20 minutes of the cartoon movie, I'm like, this is so much better. But I don't know if it's just because I really like the comic relief. But my biggest issue was the plot about the fucking female witch. Like, spoiler alert, there's a whole plot line about a female witch that was not in the cartoon movie. And it was just like, it seemed so unnecessary to me. Yeah.
In the animated movie, the Huns are the bad guys. It's very simple. It's like, no, they are trying to take over. In this movie, in the 2020 live action version, it's a little more complicated. It's like this army of northern invaders led by this warrior, but the warrior is controlling this witch who turns into a bird who has magical powers. And this is not even spoiling anything. It's introduced in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Turns out the Mulan character has similar magic powers. And this is where it kind of lost me completely, because if you're going to make a movie based on this animated classic where there's a ton of magic and a ton of like lighthearted comedic stuff, and you're going to make it like the dark, realistic, period, authentic version, don't also make her magical, because it doesn't make sense. You literally are introduced to the Mulan character. Mulan. I said Milan. That's weird. And she's like running across rooftops using like a stick as a pole vault. And at one point, her father's like, Mulan, get down from there. And she does like a pirouette backflip into it. It's just, you're like, wait, what? She's a magical teenager who can fly and like do Olympic gymnastics. It completely suspends all belief. You're just like, this is absurd. I don't understand this. She doesn't grow in any way. She doesn't really go on a journey outside of, I'm going to pretend I'm a guy, which is the plot mechanic from the movie, from the animated movie. and I need to hide that from everybody. There's no hero journey, unlike the Mulan classic that we love. I don't know. I don't want to compare it too much to the animated movie, but they really missed on this.
Yeah, so she has, what do they call it? Her chi?
Yeah.
Her chi, like her power, which is a real thing, like chi, like energy, whatever.
Yeah.
But I swear in the movie, like in the cartoon movie, she didn't have powers. She was just a strong warrior.
Yep.
She went through training. I'll make a man out of you. The best song ever.
Top 5 Disney song ever.
Yes, I agree. But my thing too is if you're going to have this movie with like half magic, half action, why not like go full in on the magic or full in on the action? It was a little confusing. I feel like it didn't want to be more like fantasy than anything.
Yep.
But also, if you're going to add fantasy and magic elements, just add a fucking talking dragon. Like, add something. Like, add a talking animal.
Sure.
That really made me upset.
I was reading that Mushu, that's the character's name, right? The dragon?
Yes.
Mushu was pretty offensive to traditional Chinese culture when it was released in 1998. So I think that was something that they made, they made a decision on, like, not to include because of, like, the backlash it got back in the 90s. But even, like we said, making some of the side characters, some of the, like Cricket is, like, the only character that might be considered comic relief in this. And he's just kind of like a portly, Chinese guard who's, like, a little inept, but by the end of it, he's, like, an incredible archer. Like, it doesn't track in that way. And frankly, is definitely not worth the $30 that we didn't pay.
No. Well, in the cartoon, I know I keep relating it back to the cartoon, and I know it's not supposed to be like the same exact movie, but
Sure.
The cricket is a little cricket. You know how she has, that's like one of her sidekicks.
Yeah.
So I get that they're paying their respects to that and having a character named Cricket, but it missed the mark. Like, okay, we're going to pick the one bigger guy and he's going to be the funny one. And
sure.
It was
fall down. It's so funny still. Just kidding.
Yeah. It was all over the place.
It was directed by Nicky Caro, and with a production budget of $200 million, it is the most expensive film ever made by a female director.
Wow. I mean, it had great visuals.
I mean, this is one of the things that, like, to take away from this movie that was positive is the fight sequences, the, like, sweeping shots of, like, Imperial China under attack are really stunning. This is where you have to watch this, not on your laptop tape, but on your big screen TV over your fireplace. So that saved it a little bit for me. I hesitate to say this the right way, but would this movie have been better if it was in Cantonese and with subtitles?
I don't know. Would it have?
I think it would, because everyone in this movie is speaking English, and every actor has, like, a different accent when it comes to their version of English. This is, like, really, I'm tiptoeing around these words right now, and I'm not, and I wasn't offended by it. What I'm trying to say is that, like, no, I didn't say that right. I'm not trying to be offensive. What I'm trying to say is that, like, it's very clear that, like, these are fluent Chinese speakers. Why aren't they speaking their native tongue? Why are they trying to, like, sell us the American version of this? I understand that, like, an original version of the movie was in English, but if you want this to be an authentic portrayal, speak the native tongue.
I get that. Did you pick up on the Emperor? Like, I don't know if it was just me, but I felt as if he were talking and the words, it didn't match his face. Like, it didn't match him. I don't know if that's just me. Like, I didn't know if that was supposed to be like a nod to, some of those old, like, kung fu movies where they would speak, it would not match up. But it just didn't match his. I probably am, like, digging myself into a hole, but I feel like the things he was saying did not match up with his features, or it just didn't look like that's his voice. Which
is a traditional, like, aspect of kung fu movies. And it's funny that you bring up the Emperor specifically, because the Emperor is played by Jet Li. Jet Li, who was one of the biggest martial artists of the late 90s, he's a little older now, and he's playing this, like, seasoned veteran role. It is interesting that you have one of the greatest martial artists in the world in this movie, and he doesn't lift a finger to do any martial arts, which again, super, like all the power to the filmmakers. They made these creative decisions, but they all feel like when they zid, they should have zad, or they zad instead of zid. It's frustrating. It felt like it had so much potential the whole time, but I didn't find myself particularly caring about the Mulan character. Yeah. She didn't endear herself to me in any way. It shows her as like a young girl, and then it immediately shows her as an adult. She's super powered. She's flying everywhere. But then it shows her struggling in like the basic training for the Chinese guard. And it's like, well, aren't you magical? Can't you just fly to the top of that mountain with those buckets of water? Like, did not add up to me.
You know what else they didn't do? They didn't have any scene where someone like catches her as a female.
Yeah. She basically, this is now we're going into spoiler territory, but like, yeah, she basically just out of the blue confesses to it and brings dishonor upon herself, and she's banished from the royal guard or whatever they're called, and ends up saving the day miraculously, and then like wins everybody over. But you're right, there isn't, the journey of Mulan is a little nonsensical.
Yeah, I just didn't find myself really like rooting for her that much. I mean, I was, but it just wasn't the same. And I know I keep relating it back to the cartoon movie, and I know obviously it's not the same, but it just lacked heart. It lacked like all of, I don't know, the depth.
It also lacked, you know, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this. It also lacked just the idea of a strong female character trying to make it in a man's world that the animated film did so well. Her overcoming that prejudice and like basically showing like it doesn't matter what genitalia I have, I can still lead this army. Like that type of like in female empowerment doesn't really exist in this movie. There is a little subplot at the beginning where she's like going to a matchmaker, just like in the animated film. You know, they found her a match. She's like getting ready to get married, and she sneaks off to go fight against the Northern invaders. But it isn't as prevalent. And you would think in 2020, Disney, you would think it'd be a little bit more progressive in that way.
Yeah, I mean, there was that little bit at the end with the witch, and they had like a weird bonding moment.
Almost a sexual moment, if I even may. Is that crazy for me to say?
I personally didn't pick up on it as a sexual moment, but maybe. But yeah, she was just like, oh, you are leading the army. And then like took a bullet for her. Well, she took an arrow for her. Yeah. But it was just like, what? You just tried to kill her like 20 minutes ago.
Also, you're a witch. Like, an arrow shouldn't be that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Like, you're made from black magic or whatever the hell it is.
I mean, I did like the end when like she destroys her father's sword, and then she gets a new sword, and it had the previous sword said, what was it? Honor, bravery, true.
Yeah.
I definitely think I have that out of order. I think I wrote that. Loyal, brave, true.
Nice.
And then they added one for family devotion, because I asked her to lead the army and she said, no, I need to go back to my family. I thought that was a very sweet moment.
Yeah, no, it comes full circle.
That was probably my favorite part of the whole movie, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that. I like the ending. The ending's a nice touch. I also liked any interaction she had with Donnie Yen. He's the lieutenant who basically is like pushing her the whole time. Donnie Yen's iconic Chinese-American actor who's starred in The IP Man. He was most famously in Rogue One, the Star Wars movie. He's like this generation's Jet Li, Jackie Chan type martial artist type actor. So it was cool to see him in more of like a reserved military role and like a role model role for Mulan. What'd you think of the like sexual tension that she had with the male soldier? Forgetting his name.
Me too. I was fully expecting at least a kiss. Yeah. But there was no kissing. There was nothing. There was no love story, which I get. Like, I think I don't know, I'm sure they wanted to focus more on the female empowerment aspect and her, as opposed to her just being someone's love interest, which I totally get. But
that's something my wife pointed out. my wife pointed out that like, oh wow, this didn't end with her like getting married to Hung Yu, the male soldier who she's like kind of flirting with the whole time. They literally end like holding hands and like shaking each other's hands, like wishing each other luck. So a nice deviation from your kind of atypical. And then she got married, and they all lived happily ever after. Ever after.
I mean, I kind of liked it. It was refreshing.
Yeah.
But okay, this is, I don't know if you know the answer, but do you know how old the actress who played Mulan is? I was shocked.
No, I've got her IMDb up in front of me, but just tell me.
She is 33 years old.
Wow.
I was expecting her to be like 16, 17. I don't know if I'm an idiot.
No, yeah, no, it's, you know, it's pretty common, you know. They're ageless. I can't fucking.
And the witch is in her 50s.
And the witch is gorgeous, by the way. She looks like she should be like on Broadway. She's just got these like extremely striking, prominent features. She looks like she should be standing on the edge of a stage with a spotlight on her, like singing a power ballad. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a little fact that had me shocked.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we recommending this to people?
I'll recommend it after December 4th when the movie becomes free.
That's right. Last week they announced that come December 4th, all Disney Plus subscribers will be able to view Mulan for free. You and I debated, should we just wait till December to do this? But I don't know a lot of people who are shelling out $30 for this. Was happy to do it on behalf of all the So Many Screens listeners. I implore you, wait until December. Throw it on with the kids. It's not too violent. It's not too dark.
Yeah.
I don't know. Get super stoned and watch some really cool magical, like swirly fight sequences and have a ball. But save your money. Save your money.
That's please don't spend your hard-earned cash on Mulan if you don't have to. I mean, just don't. I was gonna say if you have a family of 4, maybe, but
yeah,
I honestly I don't know. I had really high expectations and they were not met.
So did I, honestly. It's Disney. Disney's production value is like triple that of any other streaming service. In terms of the money that Disney has, $200 million versus like some of these original movies that have been coming out have been a $50 million budget. So it's quadruple the prices of these other movies we've been talking about. Project Power was like a $50 to $60 million movie. And this, not that much better.
No, and we don't want to come on here and be like, oh, we're bitching about another movie, like, But we honestly thought it was going to be great because it was super hyped up, and the trailer looked great.
Yeah.
But have you seen the remake of Lion King?
I haven't, and that's something I kind of wanted to talk about. And this is a good transition into these live action remakes. So these are apparently greenlit now forever after because people see them.
Yeah.
People turn out. These movies make over $100-200 million in revenue. Who knows with COVID, but I'm pretty sure they have a Hunchback of Notre Dame coming out soon, live action.
Ooh.
Yeah. I did not see Lion King. What did you think of it?
Okay, well, Lion King is like one of my favorite movies, Disney movies of all time. So, and the cast was just great, like Seth Rogen, Billy Eichner, Beyonce, Donald Glover. Sure. I had to see it. I saw it in theaters, and I loved it. And some people didn't like it. I think some people thought it lacked character, which I get because you can't have really like a CGI animal expressing as much emotion as a cartoon would. Totally. But it was very similar. I think it was honestly like 99.9% the same plot as the cartoon. There was a lot of shots that were identical, all the same songs. It was a musical, just like the cartoon. So I was all in. See, that's the difference to me. I think these have to include the original music from here on out. It's really jarring being like, man, I associate this plot with these iconic songs and musical numbers, and the fact that they're either diminished or eliminated altogether makes you feel gypped in some way. Yeah, like they played Reflection in one scene, which was cute. But if they had played I'll Make a Man Out of You at least like, for a second, I feel like that would have boosted it up a few points in my book. Even a wink and a nod to I'll Make a Man Out of You, right? Just a couple of the notes and like an eye contact thing. I completely agree. So I saw the live action Jungle Book,
when it came out because I was a huge Jungle Book fan as a little kid, and I really, really liked that. I really liked their interpretation of the musical numbers. Most specifically, I'm remembering Christopher Walken's rendition of King Louis' "I Want to Be Like You." That's the name of the song.
No, yes, I know the beat. Beat.
Bare Necessities. Yeah, I think Bill Murray played Baloo the bear in that live action Jungle Book. Christopher Walken playing King Louis. Like, these are comedic actors that have such distinct voices that like they really inhabited those characters, those animals. And so I think that's what really made it a step above for me. Okay, so this leads to our question that I posed to you earlier this week, but let's discuss this now, and then we'll do the top 5 Disney movies at the end. Which of your favorite Disney movies do you want to see made into a live action movie next? And then maybe we can hypothesize a little bit about who could play what roles, if we can even do that off the cuff. I know.
Yeah. So many movies are already remade. So it really didn't leave me with a ton.
Totally.
I was gonna say Alice in Wonderland, but I forgot that was already remade.
That's true.
Okay, I have 2. Hercules.
Oh,
was that yours?
That's mine.
Oh,
let's talk about it. No, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many options because they've done every movie, but yeah, that's a fun movie. A lot of elements there. They have like the Greek god thing going on, Hades, Hercules. What's the girl's name? Meg.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. Who would play Hercules? Who is like a funky guy?
Hercules. I think it's your boy Hemsworth.
Oh yeah.
There it is. I mean, he would be perfect. We talked about this last week in our Battle of the Chris's discussion, but like he has just like the right sense of humor about himself. He knows he's this like hunty, like he's not a meathead, but he's got the look of a meathead, and he like kind of inhabits that really well. Hercules slaps so hard. The performances in this movie, it's from 1997. James Woods is Hades. James Woods, not a great like character on Twitter, but like as a comedic voice actor, perfect. Danny DeVito played his trainer. Like, just the songs. I Can Go the Distance. Are you kidding me, Kate? Like, I Can Go the Distance should be on every Olympian's like workout playlist. It's incredible.
Zero to Hero.
There it is. Yeah. Just like their little interstitials with the artwork, with the like the gospel singers like singing the like ballad of Hercules, and it just makes for a really fun, funky movie. It's like kind of modeled off of these old like, I don't know how you would describe it, but it's like a screwball comedy set in like the 40s, but in actuality it's set in the 400s. You know, it's really cool. So I mean, I don't know who else. I mean, Hemsworth for Hercules, that's pretty good. Who would play Hades for Hercules?
I don't know.
Who'd be like a funny, sarcastic. I'm trying to think of like male comedians.
Who's the guy? He's on The Good Place, and I think he plays like one of the guys from The Bad Place. Oh my god, I was just reading a tweet thread about him. What's his name? Oh, I need to Google it.
What?
You know The Good Place?
I know it a little bit. I'm looking right now. I've only seen like parts of season 1, so just do Good Place cast and then.
You know, I can't fucking find it. Everyone, hold on.
Yeah, everyone is not hearing this right now. Is what's happening.
Oh, Jason Mantzoukas.
Jason Mantzoukas would be an incredible Hades. That's a really great call. Jason Mantzoukas inhabits that like wild, manic, lunatic, but also like he's like super unpredictable. That's a great call.
Thank you. And it sounds like he's Greek, so I was like, you'd fit right in.
That's good.
Yeah.
I would watch Hemsworth versus Mandukas till the fucking crows come home. That is a great call. Okay, so we kind of just did both of ours. What's your other option?
I was going to say Princess and the Frog.
Yes, I agree on this.
Yes. I think that has a lot of, there's like a big window for opportunity there. It could go far.
Yeah.
It's a pretty simple plot.
And because, like, famously, that animated movie kind of shortchanged the African American Disney princess. Because for most of, if not the entirety of that movie, she's a frog, which is ridiculous. And
that was annoying.
That was like something that like I remember distinctly being wrong about that movie, even though I've only ever like seen bits and parts of it 10 years ago, whatever it was. So definitely room for improvement there. Who would play the princess?
I didn't get that far. I'm trying to think. There's, oh my God, what's her name? Janelle Monáe. She's a singer, actress.
Good. Yeah.
She has the pipe. She has the look. And like, there's that little blonde rich girl character that could be like literally anyone in Hollywood.
Sure.
But she's a funny character.
Name? Yeah. What's her name from The Good Place? We're both
Kirsten Bell?
Kirsten Bell. Yeah, there you go. She's already played a Disney princess. She can play like the comic relief now.
That's true. Yeah. And the voodoo guy, he scares the fuck out of me. But I love that movie. That part of that movie made me cry. And they are supposedly remaking The Little Mermaid with a black actress as Ariel. Her name.
Oh, really?
I want to say it's Chloe something.
We are like all of like
I know it's bad. There's oh no, sorry. It's two sisters. I believe they're singers, Chloe and Hallie, and one of them, Hallie, is the sister. She's playing Ariel. I can't talk today.
It's okay. I don't know who that is at all.
You might not. I don't know. You might recognize her if you Google her, but she's very young. But of course, like people were up in arms.
Up in arms because
a black person was playing Ariel, who people forget is, a fictional character. She's a mermaid, so it's not real.
I think they should be more upset about the fact that in the animated movie, the second she gets laid, she's not allowed to talk, which has always been super fucked up to me. The second she can like talk to human beings, they just take away her voice. No, not allowed.
Yeah, well, she made a deal with the devil.
Yep, Ursula. Okay, we're all over the place. This was okay. So Mulan, Hercules, Little Mermaid, Princess and the Frog. We've talked about a couple different Disney movies here. What are your top 5 Disney movies, Kate? And we can kind of go through this fast. We don't have to like break down every single one of them. I'm just curious how many of ours line up because of our age differences and also because guy versus girl.
True. All right, I'll start from 5. My 5th one is The Aristocats.
Oh, man. So good.
I know. I love anything with like cute little animals. That's going to be a common theme.
Fair. Okay. Aladdin for me. I mean, you can't do a top 5 and leave Aladdin off. It just can't exist. Robin Williams as the genie. Like you did, you said?
I know. Aladdin is not my top 5.
It's fine.
But I almost put it. Okay. My 4th one is 101 Dalmatians.
Okay. I wouldn't say it's like I wouldn't say like I have fond memories of watching that like at my grandparents' house with like my kid cousins and stuff when we were younger, but I wouldn't say it necessarily like stands atop Mount Rushmore for me. I do remember it being scary though.
Yeah, Cruella's really scary. Like we rewatched it somewhat recently. But again, like I'm just a sucker for like little animal movies. I'm really corny like that. When I was little, I used to have this 101 Dalmatians bathing suit and I was like obsessed with it. And every time I would get home, I would make my parents like give it to me and I'll put it on every single day for like over a year. We'd have to bring it on vacation, bring it to my grandma's house. Like I had to be wearing the Dalmatian bathing suit.
Doesn't matter what time of year it was. It could be like dead of winter and you're wearing the bathing suit around.
Yes.
Classic.
Exactly.
So good.
Okay, what's your 4th?
Lion King. I mean, when you think of best animated films, Lion King is it. The songs, the visuals, the way they animated those animals was groundbreaking. The stampede of the wildebeests was something that took them like 3 years to do. A sketch artist had to hand draw every single one of those stampeding wildebeests. It's like today, some guy can comp that up in Premiere in like fucking 5 minutes. Right. And you just think about the attention to detail, the time and the emotion that was put into that. That's probably my number one favorite Disney movie of all time. But I'm assuming it made your top 5.
It did. I'm going in order 5 to 1.
Okay, so this is in order of like
least to fave, but still in my faves.
Can you give us a hint where Lion King sits?
Somewhere between 3 and 1.
All right. What's your next one?
Okay, my next one is Cinderella. And this is my only Disney movie in my top 5 that has a princess.
Interesting. I wouldn't say I remember much about the animated Cinderella movie. Probably more for my little sister, to be honest with you.
It's like a little boring, but I always really liked the scene where the mice are making her dress. And I just liked Gus Gus the mouse and Jack the mouse, again with the animals. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's a classic. It's very simple.
It's in a lot of ways like the most simple princess story, right? It's like, hey, there's a big ball. My stepsisters can go. I'm not allowed to go. And all I want to do is go meet my Prince Charming. And turns out he was at the ball and blah, blah. Like, it's mechanically, it makes the most sense. And it's kind of that like every little girl female fantasy, if I may say so myself as a 32-year-old man.
Yeah, I was probably just like preoccupied with the mice and wanting my own mice to make my clothing.
But make your bed, like do your chores for you. And
yeah, basically.
So all right. I didn't really go in order. And by the way, I should have mentioned this at the top. There could be a whole nother list of Disney Pixar movies. We're leaving off Pixar for now.
Yes.
Kate, have you seen the 1995 Disney animated classic, A Goofy Movie?
Yes. I forgot about that.
The Goofy movie goes so hard. He is like, Max is like what everyone wanted to be. Just like the coolest teenager ever with an embarrassing dad. And I was 7 years old when the movie came out. And I was like, yeah, I'm just like Max. I hate my dad.
I used to watch that one on vacation a lot. What was the song called that he sang?
Yeah. No, it's Stand Out.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Yeah. That's a great movie. And I love the part where he has the spray cheese.
Yeah, the spray. No, that's his friend who has the spray cheese.
Yes, the Leaning Tower of Cheese, I believe he calls it. Yeah, that's a good movie. I used to see people online being like, "Oh, the girl from A Goofy Movie is so hot."
Yeah, that started into the weird like furry cosplay stuff.
If you guys think the girl from A Goofy Movie is hot, let us know.
Yeah. drop a comment, tweet at us, Instagram, Twitter, at So Many Screens.
Yes. Okay, my number 2 is Alice in Wonderland. Love that movie. I just like that there's so many like little plots going on. It's like a bunch of little mini stories in one movie. And I don't know. It's very trippy. Like I think every stoner in high school and college was like obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. But I don't know. I rewatched it. I started rewatching it this afternoon. So it's so good.
Through the Looking Glass, the Lewis Carroll novel that it's based off of is from 1871. So I don't know what he was smoking or eating back then, but this movie, this novel that it's based on is such a trip. And I'd like to see them remake it, not to go back to our previous conversation, but I'd like to see them remake it into live action, not the Tim Burton version. I want to see like I don't know. I want to see like the Christopher Nolan version or something like that with just like crazy special effects and crazy like mind bending, turn into like a Marvel movie or something like that.
That would be cool. Yeah. I mean, the flowers singing, the little gnome rats. Great movie.
100%. Okay. So by process of elimination, I think I know where Lion King sits, but okay. Here's another one for you. Tarzan, 1999. If only for the Phil Collins song.
Yes, that was a great soundtrack.
Yeah, Tarzan goes pretty hard. Not much more to say about Tarzan than that song goes, and the animation of that film was like it took a step up. If you remember, he like did the cool surfing on the trees type thing.
Yes.
I remember this being like a complete trip in the movie theater, being like, holy shit, if I had 3D goggles on right now, this would be like I was swimming with Tarzan. So I'd like to see that remade live action. I think the CGI would be incredible.
Good call. Good call. My number one is obviously Lion King. I just love that movie. Like, it is so nostalgic for me. You can't miss. It's so good. Yeah, it just reminds me of my childhood, and I love it.
There isn't a dull moment in Lion King. Song to song,
no,
moment to moment, voice performance to voice performance. It's a murderer's row of actors. It really stands the test of time. It's the type of movie that if or when I have kids, I'll show them Lion King and say, this is one of the things that you have to watch. I don't care what year it is. I don't care how old it is. I don't care how much TikTok you're consuming. Just watch fucking Lion King.
Yeah, it's iconic. It reminds me of being like a little 4-year-old at my grandma's house. I had the Lion King sheets, Lion King everything. Everything was Lion King. But yeah, great movie. Number one.
Did you ever play the video game, The Lion King, on Super Nintendo or any other platform?
I feel like I had it as a computer game.
Okay.
When those were a thing.
So The Lion King for Super Nintendo, I still have it to this day. I still have the cartridge. I still have the Super Nintendo system. And I have yet to, in 32 years of my life, even come close to beating it. It is considered one of the hardest video games ever. And it's because back when people would rent video games from like Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, they'd make the first 3 levels really easy and then every level after that impossible, so that people would pick up the game, beat the first 3 levels, and then hit a brick wall and have to keep going back and renting the game over and over again. It was like a crazy marketing tactic that totally worked, because I rented it like a million times, ended up buying it, and I still haven't fucking beat the game. It's crazy. The Stampede level, I'm done. I can't.
What was the console?
I had it for Super Nintendo. I'm sure it was on PlayStation and all those other ones, but
yeah, I definitely had some Lion King video.
You had like the CD-ROM version or something?
Yeah, I had Winnie the Pooh game, Dalmatian game. I had a Dalmatian card making software. It was very cool, very innovative.
Sure. Last one for me. It's not my number one. I didn't really do these in descending or ascending order. It's just another like highly underrated Disney movie that kind of gets lost. Incredible performance by David Spade in The Emperor's New Groove.
I don't think I've seen that, to be honest.
Damn, Kate. This is one you should go back and revisit. I'm not going to stamp the must watch on it like I have before with Crazy Stupid Love, but it's close. It's just there's no other way to describe it. Emperor's New Groove hits differently than any other Disney movie. It's got like a little bit more adult jokes to it. It's based on The Emperor's New Clothes. Like it's got this like,
right.
Honestly, kind of what I wanted to see out of the live action Mulan. Everything I wanted to see out of the live action Mulan, The Emperor's New Groove has, and I mean that. So check it out. It's probably on Disney Plus right now. Anyone who hasn't seen it, David Spade, one of the funniest actors of the 90s, in a really great voice performance in this film. Yeah, and that's our top 5 Disney movies. We're at 45 minutes right now. So
I know, damn.
Do you want to talk about Disney adults before we
I mean, I don't have much to say. Like, I mean, I always have much to say, but yeah, I just wanted to see what your thoughts were, because there's like a whole sub genre of white people where it's just like these crazed people that go to Disney World. They have the whole matching outfits, matching shirts, or they'll just dress up like Disney characters. And I'm just curious what you think about them.
I'm glad you brought this up, because I've encountered them in my real life. So I went to Disney World a lot as a kid. Like, I think there was, from probably the ages of like 7 to 10, we would go every 14 months or something on a family trip. And then I didn't for 10 plus years, right? Went to college, moved to California, and my wife, as I've mentioned probably 100 times in this podcast, is from Orange County. And Disneyland is in Anaheim, which is just outside of Orange County. So at one point we were home for like a holiday weekend at her parents, and she said, we should go to Disneyland. It's the original. It's a lot smaller than Disney World. I think we found some deal on a day pass, and it was, just like two adults in their 30s wanted to go to Disneyland and check it out. I'd never been to the original Disneyland, so we went, and it's cool, and it's nostalgic, and it's fun, and I'm not taking it too seriously. And all of a sudden, my wife goes, oh my God, there's so-and-so, some girl that she had like grown up with. So I'll give her a name. It's like Michelle or something. And Michelle and her husband are walking around Disneyland, and they've got the ears, the shirts, the shorts, the fanny packs. And I'm like, wait, these are two people you grew up with, so they'd live like 20 minutes from here? We end up like kind of hanging out with these people for a couple hours, and I realized like, oh, these are like Disney people. They come every weekend, Tate. And
that's so expensive.
No, it's like they buy a season pass. They pay like $1,000 each, so they have like free in and outs at all times. They've ridden each ride 1,000 times. They've tried every single thing in the park. And I literally was like talking to the husband, who seemed like a normal enough guy. And I'm like, this is like what you do. This is what you do for fun. And he's like, it's great. We can't get enough of it. It's so magical. It's the happiest place on earth. We love being here. And I was this close to being like, I do not like being here with you because you make me uncomfortable.
See, I was supposed to go in April, and I am so bummed I'm missing it. I've never been to Disneyland. I've only been to Disney World twice. And I like actually really want to go so badly. And I think that's the one thing I was so upset about when I had to cancel my trip to California.
That's right.
But I don't know. Some people think it's weird when adults go to Disney without kids. I personally don't think it's that weird because there's a shit ton for adults to do. There's so much booze.
Yep.
Like, I think the whole drinking around Epcot thing sounds so fun. I really want to do that.
Yeah.
But it gets to a level when like your whole house is Disney themed.
Yeah.
It's like, and your Instagram bio is like, whatever, a dream is a wish your heart makes. Like all this shit. I don't know. It's a little odd to me. And I was looking at Disney shirts earlier. It was matching, like, there's so many. There was one that said supercalifragilistic drinking all day adocious.
Oof, yikes.
I'm like, okay. And then there was a girl shirt that said, I wanted the D, like the Disney D. And the guy shirt said, I gave her the D.
If I saw a couple wearing those shirts on Instagram, I wouldn't just go out of my way to unfollow. I would block them. I'd block them from existence. I'd be like, or I'd report that account. That's what I would do. I would say,
yes,
this is inappropriate content for this social media platform.
Yeah, I think like you can do that kind of thing, but like be self-aware about it. Like if you're gonna be a full-blown like Disney tourist in the park, like be self-aware and own it. Yeah. Like, I don't know, go all out. But then and don't take yourself too seriously. But then there's people that like really take it seriously. Like Disney is their life. And that kind of scares me.
When people have a personality that's based around something, sorry, I didn't say that right. So when people's entire personality is based upon someone else's work, and by this I mean Walt Disney's work and kingdom and body of films and stuff like that, it always makes you uncomfortable because it makes you think like, what is wrong with this person that like they had to fill that hole or that missing piece with this and fill it so much that it is all of them. So I'm always very sketched out around people like that because it makes me wonder what's wrong with them.
I feel like it's very controversial, and I'm worried about the backlash.
You're afraid Disney Twitter's gonna come for us?
Yeah, well, I'm worried. Like, I took a poll on our Instagram. What do you think about Disney adults? And most of them did not like Disney adults, but there was still a decent amount that did not have a problem with them. But I'm just a little worried. I feel like this is my hottest take yet. So
no, I'll fully back you up on this take. We'll go down in flames together. Disney adults, you're fucking weirdos. I'll say it. You don't have to say it. I'll say it. You guys can at me. JR will do it.
I know. I'm not going to call them full-blown weirdos, but there comes a point when it does frighten me a little bit.
If you want to go to Disney World every single weekend, go to a winery, go to dinner. You know what I mean? Like go for a run or something. Just mix it up a little bit. You don't have to spend every waking minute at Disney.
That's true. My last thought will be, if I had all that money to spend on vacation, I don't know if Disney is the first place I would want to go. Like,
there's a Disney World in Japan. There's a Disney World.
That would be fun.
But yeah, hit those. If that's your goal, do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'd rather go to a different country than go to Disney. It just sounds a little stressful, but not hating. I want to go. I need to go sometime in the next 10 years.
Live episode from Walt Disney World, Shanghai.
That would be fun.
Disney Week has been concluded. Let's conclude Disney Week. I can't talk. I've been drinking all weekend. Disney World has come to an end. Disney Week has come to an end. This has been a ton of fun, as usual. Next week, Emmy preview. The Emmys are going to take place, even though they're not in person. They're hosted by Jimmy Kimmel on ABC. We're going to be watching. We're going to be tweeting. We're going to make some predictions next week. So familiarize yourself with the TV landscape. It's going to be all Emmys coverage next week. Kate, anything to plug before we take off?
Yes, guys, subscribe, rate 5 stars, leave a nice review. I haven't checked the reviews anytime recently, so I need to do that. But yeah, keep leaving us good reviews, obviously. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at So Many Screens. And I'm going to plug myself, as per usual, at The Real Capet across the board.
Hope everyone had a great Labor Day weekend. Hello to Greg and Susan Patnout, as usual. We will talk to you guys next week.
Yes. Bye, guys.